Hi guys, welcome to Tiny Chick Pottery. I'm Julie and I wanted to show you what I'm working on. If you follow me on Facebook on Tiny Chick Pottery, you will have already seen this. This is the Alice in Wonderland mug. I tried to make a video of the beginning part of painting this, kind of an instructional video, but it was just bad and I'm so sorry. I wasn't able to actually use it, and I don't have a video for today, so I'm really winging this. I wanted to talk about it a little bit. It's not a how-to video much, so if you're looking for a how-to video, I don't know what to tell you. My videos, even if sometimes I write how-to, that's only because the algorithm is a meanie and will not tell you that my video has posted unless it has some sort of like how-to in it for some reason. I don't know. It's like, it's such a struggle with YouTube trying to figure out how to please the algorithm. It's like the computer overlords have taken over and they're in charge of whether or not I succeed at all. And it's a real struggle. So please forgive me if it ever looks like or feels like clickbait. I try like 20 different titles to see what'll work. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. And sometimes I forget what I talked about in the video. So it's really a struggle to figure out those titles. So if you do have an idea for title of a video and you think on my video's mistitled, please go ahead and tell me. I'm happy to switch it at any time. Even after you've watched a video, I can still switch the title. So yeah, if you think something else is better and it would better describe the video, I'm all for your help. So please help me out. I want to show you something I just sold. The lady hasn't come to pick it up yet, but I wanted to show you how cute this is. Okay. This is my little bee. Let me see if I can get closer here. Okay. I have this huge lighting setup thing with an umbrella on it, shooting really pretty light, but it's coming from this side. This bee is painted in Underglaze, and the Underglazes look like this. These are Amaco velvet Underglazes. I put 3 coats on the bowl, but what I do is first I take the white. This is my white. It also comes in a bigger size. And I recommend for the white and black, if you're gonna use a lot of them, which I will because I'm a real fan of the checkerboards. So get the bigger size of the black and the white and be careful with the black. If you put the black on the bottom side of a piece of pottery, it will stick to your kiln shelf. Now, I just learned something cool and I think I might buy this stuff. There's kiln paper that you can put in your pottery kiln underneath your piece. The glaze will drip onto that instead of onto your kiln shelf, and then you don't have to use kiln wash anymore. Kiln wash is such a pain in the butt. I think it's really a much better idea. It's probably even safer for your lungs not to use kiln wash because like I mix mine up from a powder, and just being around anything powdered, you know, we spend so much time as potters around powdered goods that I really think that it's probably a better idea to just avoid that as much as possible. What looks like yellow there, that's called orange. So your velvet underglaze that says orange on it, beware that that comes out yellow, okay? Then they have after that probably, I'm guessing, developed another and it's called real orange. And that one looks like orange. If you're gonna buy them, beware of that. This is white. And then I do a technique, which I made a video of. I don't think I uploaded it here, but I blend the colors by first putting a couple layers down of the color, the undercolor, which is the yellow here. And then on top of that, after it dried, I went ahead and just with an almost dry brush and just a little bit of glaze on it, I just started like rubbing in just red on one side. And that would be the side of the bee's face where the shadow is coming from, okay? So the light source on the bee, meaning, okay, this is the real light source, but there's a light source in a painting. You say, when you do a painting, you go, where's the light coming from? Why is it so dark? The light is coming from here, okay? Now on the bee, the light is coming from the same direction. In this particular painting, the light is on this side of his face, and he's darker on this side of his face. So I used pure white underglaze with a brush, and I try and use some of these brushes have a blunt end, right? And they're a little bit stiff, and you can just use that to just work that white on top, and it comes out really good. You get a good graduation of color, and it lasts even through the firing. Even though that white is not on 3 layers, that's one way of doing it. The other way you can do it, you could do, you know, your 2 layers of yellow, and then you can blend the white and the yellow together, and then just blend them on the piece while you paint. And then when you get over to the other side on your palette, you can blend your red and your yellow together and work back over. That's not my technique for this one, but it's totally doable. The velvet underglazes mix with each other, so you're not gonna end up like mixing a red and a yellow and get a green or anything like that. You know, it's not the same. They're chemically similar, I guess. Unlike those glazes that you paint on, and when you paint it on red, it looks red. You fire it, it comes out green. There are actually a lot of glazes that look like a different color than what they finish out as. So the underglazes mostly look like what they are, and that's good. Oh, and to do the fine lines, like, okay, let me put this guy down for a second. Oh, I didn't show you the outside, did I? So the outside is just wide stripes, and the bottom, of course, it has my logo stamp on the bottom. I had those stamps made at rubberstamps.com. Yeah, I had 2. I had a large one made and a small one, and I stamped those on my shipping boxes. I color them in, which makes them really look cute, kind of handcrafted. My whole business is about cute pottery. I want bright colors and cuteness. It's never gonna be very earthy, I don't think. At least not right now, not under the name Tiny Chick Pottery. What do you think? What do you think it should be? See that light source hitting the cup? It just looks so pretty. So that beautiful graduation in color. That's what I want to do with my painting. Let me show you some of my art. These were studies. Okay, let's just wind back to, say, February, March. In February and March, I had an art studio up on our main drag up here where I live, and we shared it. There were like, I don't know, like 13 artists shared this artist space, and it was pretty awesome. Yeah, but unfortunately, people stopped coming in when the whole thing started, and we had to shut our doors, and maybe we'll start up that again, I don't know. I was doing large-scale portraits of people that I either admired or knew. I was painting children, like a child from Syria, and that painting I'm just gonna destroy. It's sad, and I don't feel like the world needs that sad painting right now at all. I just don't think it belongs. Before I started painting all the people, I needed a lot of practice. So I started with painting things like this. It has a lot of, kind of looks like my nose, doesn't it? It has a lot of shading and a lot of blurring with the, you know, just learning how to paint a nose. It's not as easy as maybe, I don't know if you think it's easy to paint a nose. Most people would say, yeah, that's a difficult challenge. I had the camera pointed towards me on my phone, and I just used that to paint my mouth, and mostly dry paint or entirely dry paint. That's one of my techniques that I use for oil painting. So here's another oil painting, and it's just a study, of course, and it's, can you tell what it is? Of course you can. This little guy, this little pot has a lid. I threw this on one of those tiny pottery wheels they sell on Amazon for $40. The whole wheel is this big. The wheel head is that big. And it's just as fun as could be. And I think that video could be on this channel, or maybe it's on my other channel, but I leave links to both channels below the video in the video description, which you can, there's an arrow, you can drop it down, you can see all the links to information about the video. This one is in progress. I keep notes how many coats of paint are on it so that I don't get thin, because if you go thin on your underglaze, you will see the clay from underneath. I mean, it's hard to tell how thick it is, and you do really actually need 3 layers of underglaze to get a nice crisp black. This kind of goes with my Alice in Wonderland type theme items. It'll just be a cute little side cup. I'm putting entirely too much work into the glazing of these things. And so I'm putting ridiculously large price tags on them because I come up with a price by deciding what my hourly wage is, and then I don't worry about materials, and I go, this is how many hours it took. I multiply it by my hourly wage, and that's how much the product is. Just because I feel like I have enough experience as an artist and as a potter to command a certain dollar an hour. And so if you've got a better idea for that too, I have all ears. I mean, some people probably think that's crazy. How dare an artist expect to make an hourly wage similar to the wage I made when I sat at a desk? Isn't that ridiculous? That's just what I wanted to tell you about Underglaze. So yeah, I have all the black squares have been painted twice, and after I do that, I'm gonna paint all the white squares twice. I haven't painted them at all yet. I'm still seeing the weird yellowish tinge of this clay, which is white stoneware that I buy from Trinity Ceramic in Dallas, Texas. So then after I get all the black done, white 3 times, and then I'm going to take it like this and put it on a sponge. Say this is a sponge, and I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna clean up that top edge, and then I'm gonna reglaze that top edge because I want a really clean line up there, because that's exactly where the person who's drinking, like say you're drinking tea out of this tiny thing, that's exactly the part of it that they're gonna look at to see if it's, you know, to see if it's good. But in a way, interestingly, the products that I have made that look the least like they came out of a factory have been my most popular items. Things that fell over or lopsided or, you know, like really badly fell over, I sold those so quickly because people were like, I know the artist that made this, and I don't know if they know something I don't, but so I guess what we should think about when we're being potters is think about like, what do people value in it, and do they value that handcrafted thing? And if they're looking for that thing that looks like it came out of a factory, Walmart has those things. They can go over there or wherever, you know. So this one, I know I flashed it in front of you guys. Here, let me get back here. So we have the Mad Hatter. Let's start on this side. It's way better on this side. So there's a little tiny mouse door back here, and there's a key down here, and there's Alice, and she's looking this way, and she's looking at this little teapot on the table that's also a checkerboard, which is actually to kind of speak about this teapot that I made a couple years ago when I first started. I think it was my second teapot. It had Alice in Wonderland on it. It was a low fire teapot. I have it, but it's like, you should not make a teapot out of low fire clay. Turns out, yeah, it's like not usable anymore. It wasn't this strong stuff. This is stoneware. Stoneware's much more durable. It has a little heart on top of the teapot, exactly what that teapot looks like. And this is the same Alice that I drew for that teapot. I just copied her and I put her little tights on. The other teapot though, if you go like this, her legs continue down like this. But I decided not to do that because I wanted room for the logo and everything on the bottom. And here's the playing card is a piece of art on the wall, and that is the Queen of Hearts. So I didn't paint the Queen of Hearts, I just painted the Queen of Hearts, you know what I mean? And then we have the rabbit, and he is holding one of those pocket watches in his hand. You can only see the back side of it. Painting in the detail of trying to like put hands on a pocket watch was it's just not that, not only it's not that easy, it's just, I just didn't think it would add anything, so I didn't even try. But he's got a little button down blue vest on, cute expression. He's looking back over at Alice. And there's a big door behind them. See this curve here? There's the big door back there, and there's a tiny door up here. I don't know, I thought it would be cute. Instead of putting a window up there, I put another tiny door. And the Mad Hatter is here in his purple jacket. He's got a striped napkin on his lap and I think green pants. The rabbit's standing on the chair because rabbits are short. And he's sitting on this other chair, which is like drawn kind of in perspective. And you know, when I was drawing this, I I didn't make sketches and stuff or anything. I just started drawing right onto the thing and seeing what fit. The checkerboard floor, I did the same technique back here as I did on the, well, you can't really tell as much, but on the black here, I painted white on the black so that the light, it would show the light, like what angle of light, you know, give him more dimension, make him look more like he's a rounded bee. And so on the floor there, I wanted to make it look like that floor goes off in the distance. So there's two ways that you do that. And one is, as things are further away from you, they're smaller. You can learn to draw a room really easily if you know how to do vanishing lines. And so the squares get bigger as they come here, but also there's white on top of the squares up here. So they're grayer at the distance. So when things are less crisp, they're more blurry if they're in the distance. Also, they are grayer in the distance and they are smaller in the distance. All of those things tell you this thing is further away and this is closer, and it kind of gives you just a little perspective. I could even go further with blurring those lines and graying that more, but I really like the black and white. I really like the black and white checkerboard. So maybe another time I might go further with the graying and, you know, making it look even more deep in space and that sort of thing. I made the cup on the wheel, and then I attached a handle to it, and then I let it dry all the way, and then I fired it the first time to 1925 degrees, which is cone 04, painted it, and then I fired it again to make sure the stuff would stay still when I put the clear coat on. You do not have to do it that way. That's the way I did it, because I felt like sometimes these things are very fragile when you're like, if you try to paint your underglaze directly on the wet clay, or it's wet to a certain degree. It's like leather hard or a little past leather hard, but it's still damp. It's totally stiff, but you can feel that it's wet, it's cold, but it's not dry. It just feels really brittle, and I feel really nervous. And when you know you have to put a whole lot of effort into painting it, if I was to drop it and break it, I would be broken myself. So that's why I refired it before painting the clear coat on. I mean, that's why I bisque fired it before putting the underglaze on. And now I'm just gonna make a few touch-ups on it, and I'm gonna put it back in the kiln, and we're gonna have a finished product soon. So if you want to see the finished product, I suggest that you follow Tiny Chick Pottery on Facebook. And if you don't do Facebook, probably check out Instagram, Tiny Chick Pottery. And if you don't follow Instagram, well, you probably won't see it. So it may end up on my website, tinychickpottery.com. And there are items for sale on there if you are interested. And if you're not interested, there are still items on sale up there. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this discussion on underglazes and techniques. I hope to see you again soon. Please leave me a message in the comments.